Alright, we got the Monster Type Festival, Fairy and Fiend. This is the Dark World deck that I use for the event. I know best decks aren't really cared about for these events, but I think Dark World is the best deck if there was ever a tournament with this festival ban list. Now I know everyone might be thinking that this format is solved because of but I had this Dark World build be very successful, even though it isn't fully optimized. Now, going through the deck list, we have one Ceruli. You never need more than one, especially after the ban of Silva, so we just have one for that. One Parl, you just basically need this for recursion for your Dark World monsters in the grave. 3 Brow for the draw power. We have 3 Beige for the swarming that it provides. 3 Snow for the consistency, because you get to search any Dark World card in your deck. 3 Genta, this is to search your field spell. 3 Salamander Catalyzer. This is a great card for the Dark World deck because you can basically special summon this, so it provides swarming and allows you to discard a Dark World monster from your hand. Next, we got 3 Gold. This is basically your best target for Ceruli because Ceruli makes you discard a card from your hand, which is counting as your opponent because it special summons on your opponent's field. And you get to destroy 2 cards with gold with its secondary effect when it's discarded by an opponent's card effect. 2 Lucent. I would run just 1 and cut it out for a 3rd copy of Grapha, but I don't have a 3rd copy of Grapha. I'm not going to craft for this event. So we just run 2. This is still great for swarming. Next we got, and speaking of Grapha, we got 2 Graphas. This is just to go into your fusions play. Honestly, it's just the best Dark World card still. You get to special summon it from the grave, destroy a monster on your opponent's side of the field. Next, we got 2 Overkings. This is basically to search for your level 5 or higher Dark World monsters, and the best target being Grapha, so consistency for Grapha for that reason. We got 1 Harpy's Feather Duster because of the very heavy presence of Labyrinths. Next, we got 1 Card Destruction, a great card in the archetype. I mean, if you just open up with this, you're pretty much full combo. You can basically do whatever you need, set up whatever board you need. Next, we got 2 Dark World Dealings. I'm not a huge fan of this card only because I don't like my opponent drawing and digging deeper into their deck, but we need it ourselves just for consistency because that is kind of the problem with Dark World still is we need the option to have the cards in our hand to discard for effect and then also have the monsters to benefit from those effects. So yeah, we just run 2 for that reason. Next, we got Charge into the Dark World. This is to basically recur a level 4 or lower Fiend monster from your grave. Plus, you get to discard a Fiend monster, so just a little consistency on both ends. Next, we got the Field Spell, the Gates of the Dark World. Of course, you just very standard for any Dark World build. Next, we got 2 Dark World Archives, a great card for the archetype. I mean, the first effect helps us with OTKing, and then the second effect helps us with consistency and just going through our deck because it allows us to discard and draw 2 all through effect, so great card right there. Next, we run 3 Dark World Puppetry. I run 3, and I'm very surprised I see a lot of lists not running them at all because I feel like Dark World Puppetry is really great against the best deck, or what people claim to be the best deck in this format of Labyrinth, because Labyrinth are really good with recursion, with their Coup Clock, with their Stove, with their Chandelier. Their big welcomes all recur from the grave, and Dark World Puppetry basically prevents all that from happening because you banish those cards. So it's just really strong against that. Plus you discard, so if you have just a monster in hand, I mean, you get a benefit effect from that. So I just don't see why people don't run any of this. On top of that, in worst case scenario, even if you're not playing a deck that focuses on the graveyard, you can, worst case scenario, you can banish one of your own Dark World monsters, and then its secondary effect of Puppetry is you get to recur one of your banished monsters, which is pretty strong itself too, because you'll be banishing somewhat with your other cards in this deck. Next, we got Dark World Ascensions. This is basically just to fusion summon to our Dark World fusion monster. And then finally, we got Dark World Punishment. This is basically stop your normal any of your opponent's normal summon. It can do special summon, but I feel like normal summon is more important for this event. Not a lot of combo heavy decks that we have in this event, so Dark World Punishment stopping the normal summon should be good enough. Onto the extra deck, we got the Dragon Overlord Grapha Fusion card. Of course, you want to get into this as fast as possible. Just a great card. You get helps with the whole archetype of just discarding from your hand and then getting your secondary effects with your any of your main deck Dark World monsters. Next we got number 103 Ragnar Zero. This is a great card, honestly, and I feel like very underrated for Dark Worlds because with our field spell, the Gates of the Dark World, all few monsters gain 300, so that's including your opponents, and especially with like a lot of them running fiend monsters with labyrinths, because they're all fiend monsters, they all gain the buff, and then Ragnar Zero allows you to target them, destroy them, and then draw one card, so that just helps with that. I mean, it's just great resource. Lets you help recur resources. One Baguska, this is just to stall out to get a better hand. Next we got Tyrus, Keeper of Genesis. This is our rank 5 option. It doesn't get destroyed by card effects, which is kind of great against like your trap cards, like a lot of the Labyrinth trap cards destroy, like Big Welcome and all that stuff. So that prevents that, and you get to destroy a card at the end of the battle phase. But I would like to say that I kind of would cut this card just for a better card, which is the Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. That's just a much better card in place of this card. Next, we got the XYZ DDD. This allows you to absorb a monster, an opponent's monster. Next, we got Nightmare Cerberus. This allows you to destroy a special summon monster. Next, we got Nightmare Phoenix. This allows you to destroy a back row that your opponent controls. Next, we got Muckraker from the Underworld. This card is really great for Dark World itself because it special summons a monster from the grave plus discards all for effect, so that allows you to combo off with that. And on top of that, what's really neat about it is you have a down pointing arrow, which really synergizes well with the Nightmare cards because when they're co-linked, meaning their arrows point to each other, you get to draw an additional card. So yeah, this card is great for that. Next, we got Nightmare Unicorn. This allows you to shuffle a card on the field. Next, we got Nightmare Griffin. I don't really go into this too much. Honestly, like I've had scenarios where my field spell's been destroyed, and since I only run one copy, this kind of helps with recurring that. And again, because of the arrows you get to draw. But really, it's not that great. You know, I rarely go into this. I'll just be quite honest with that. Next, we got Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. This is for monster negation. Next, we got Unchained Abomination. This allows you to destroy one card at the end phase each turn, so this is really great with that. Helps you clear out your opponent's board. And finally, we got Underworld Goddess to link off your opponent's monsters. Now, with all that being said, let's go on to the match replays. Alright, so for our first replay, we have Labyrinth, of course, the most prevalent deck in this festival. And yeah, this is their deck list, so let's just get right into the replay. Alright, so unfortunately we go second against the Labyrinth deck, which is not great. So they're going to have Ariana. Ariana's going to search the field spell. You're going to have Stove. Stove's going to search the Big Welcome, activate the field spell, and then they set one random card. So then it's our turn. We draw the Dark World Puppetry. We activate Dark World Dealings. They're going to activate their Big Welcome Labyrinth. They're going to search out the Lady Labyrinth. With my Dark World Dealings, I'm going to get Snow. I'm going to go for Grapha. I feel like it's like the quickest thing you should be going for with Snow. And then with Snow, we activate Dark World Archives. Then they're going to activate their Stove. They're going to chain that, which is completely fine. They go for Welcome Labyrinth. And this is where I say Dark World Puppetry really comes in play, because the Big Welcome Labyrinth, their graveyard effect allows you to basically bounce the opponent's monster from the field, or I believe it's any card actually. You can target one card, yeah, and return it to the card to the hand. So yeah, just getting rid of that because we're gonna try to be going for a big push here. So banish all of that plus their Stove, the Grapha. With the Grapha, I'm just gonna target the unknown card because I don't know what that is. Then with that, we're able to, with the Archives, we're able to discard one, draw two more cards. I was going to discard Gold with Special Summon. Got to Special Summon Grapha with his effect. Then activate the Field Spell. We're going to activate the Field Spell. Special Summon Gold. Archive. I'm going to Archive to boost all my monsters' attack. And I actually kind of made a misplay here. I should have normal summoned Beige first and then do the discarding to boost the attack. Because then it would have been an OTK right there, but that's completely fine because this is where I mean where Muckraker really comes into play, of just like clearing out an opponent's fields right off the bat right here, because you're able to special summon, swarm some more. Nightmare Phoenix, I'm gonna discard, destroy their set Welcome Labyrinth, and then draw. And then this basically the field I got to end on. On top of that, we have the Dark World Ascension that I got to activate from Grave. So yeah, we basically are gonna fusion summon into the Dragon Overlord again, and they're basically not going to be able to do anything. They have the Ariana for their turn. A fusion summon just goes straight into the Grapha Dragon Overlord, and then there's basically nothing they can do because once they discard, I was able to activate. I'm sorry, once I activate the effect, I was able to discard gold, destroy 2 of their cards, and that's it. They just crash in because they know that's game. On to the next replay. For our second replay, we have the DDD deck. I'm not too familiar with this deck, but nevertheless, this is our replay. Alright, so we go second again. So I'll be quite honest, I'm not too familiar how DDDs work. Their combos, I hear it's like very... there's a lot of variety in how they can combo off and basically what their end board can look like. So I'm not even gonna like try to explain what they're doing. I'm just gonna let it ride and basically let you know what I do once I see their end board. So yeah, basically this is what they end on. They basically end off Spell and Trap Negate plus Monster Absorption, the same XYZ card that we have. We have it somewhere around here, yeah, right here. Except it works a lot better with their deck. But here I'm just trying to like basically negate or fish out their Spell and Trap Negate, but they don't let that go through. So I get to discard the Overking search for Grapha. Dark World Dealings, they still not negating this because I wanted to go into the Dark World Ascension, which is completely fine because Grapha is going to allow us to pop the Spell and Trap Negate. They're going to search out whatever they need to search out. And then from Ascension, now I'm able to go into the Dragon Overlord Fusion card. Brow's going to allow me to draw. This Fuel Spell basically allows me, doesn't allow me to special summon any more fusion monsters with the same type, which is Fiend, which doesn't really matter. We can only activate that once per turn. Now we go for the field spell. We're going to just basically start swarming. We get to special summon the Overking, clear out their board. And then we're going to basically do a little more searching, swarming. We're going to search the Grapha because we have Dark World Ascension. We're going to set that. And because of this, we're able to just, on their turn, whatever they're going to do, I can fusion summon another Dragon Overlord and basically discard Grapha and pop anything. Or if they just activate any other monster effect, I can use Grapha's effect, which allows me to discard gold and pop 2 cards. So we're going to see that really shortly here because they're going to activate their Dark Contract, search this monster effect, activate gold. Gold's going to pop 2 more cards, and they're basically going to see that they can't do anything, so that's pretty much game right there. And for our final replay, we have Despia Dark Lords. This is another deck that's kind of prevalent in this festival. I don't think they're very good. However, you know, they have their moments. If they combo off really well, they have like the right cards in their hand. But we'll see in the replay. Alright, I'm going second again. Something that's kind of great about Dark World is they're not bad going second. Obviously, going first is a little better. But this is one of the few decks that can go second really well. So yeah, they're going to activate all their Despia stuff. Tragedy go into Aliber. Aliber searches the field spell. They're going to fusion summon into Masquerade, and they're just going to end on that. And I will say, if they ever end on, these Despia players end off on 2 Masquerades, that's pretty much game for the Dark World player because they can't really combo off too well because we make a lot of plays. But unless you have Grapha or discard in your hand to pop one of them, you're pretty much like losing that game regardless. So yeah, thankfully they only end on 1. But I'm still going to take a lot of damage here. I'm going to use the Gensa to search for the field spell. The field spell basically do a bunch of combos. I'm going to try my best to search into Grapha. That's basically what I'm doing here. I just need something to get rid of all these things. And thankfully we draw Grapha with Dark World Dealings. We're able to pop off the fusion spell. And this is where Aliber is going to activate from grave, special summoning and negating a monster. And then this is where I'm talking. This is what I'm talking about, where Dark World Puppetry is really clutch right here, because basically we're able to banish all of that plus the fusion monster. And right here we just have an open clear board, and this is going to be game right here. Dark World Puppetry just basically won us that game, obviously plus with the Dark World Dealings with Grapha. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the replay. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to catch you guys on the next one.